Hello everybody, I'm James. Welcome to another episode of James's N-Scale Terrain Layout Project. It's been an exciting couple of weeks for me as I've completed the shell of the terrain, and I spend many hours just watching it and figuring out what I'm going to do next. So I did go ahead and I put in the roadbed. It was really easy. I used the Woodland Scenics roadbed, super soft material, deadens the sound and smooths out all of the little bumps that accumulate when you are creating a plaster layout. I'll show you that in a minute. And now I'm going to work on the mountain. So this is mountain building, and it's going to be constructed with both shaper sheets as well as plaster cloth. I'm going to be using both media, and I'm going to be creating a very specific look that I want for my layout. I'm going to show you little pieces of it. I am not instructing you on how to create a mountain. This is my first time doing all of this. All I'm doing is sharing with you what I choose to do and hope that you enjoy it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the layout and where we are just for a moment and then get into mountain building. Thanks. Here's that awesome layout, all creamy white and ready for color, but not quite yet. I want to finish building the mountain. You see that I put the roadbed in. I did actually put the track in order to do this, made sure everything was working properly. Only lost one very important cable for my crossing gate, but you know what? That's what happens when you are building. You just sort of got to go with the punches. I lost it down there in the plaster, so I'm just going to order another one and then, route it on top and then figure it out later, because that's what building a terrain layout's all about, is rolling with the punches and just kind of doing whatever you can when mistakes happen. So it's good looking. I did go ahead and I put some flex paste, which is like a waterproofing compound, in this water feature. Going to be working with that in the future. Have another little water feature over here, kind of hard to see, but did the same there in terms of being able to have a preparation for the realistic water product. We'll get into that into another episode. But right now we are working on this area right here, and it looks kind of cool, but it's not what I want. I want a mountain on top of that thing. And as I've mentioned in previous episodes, my mountain is removable. It's still going to be really heavy and detailed. I'm not going to want to remove it very often, so I'm going to use those little, windows in the back for derailments and fetching cars that get lost back there. But the point is that I did want to have the option of removing that top in case just for some reason I absolutely needed to. So I'm going to be building the mountain. I'm going to be showing it to you. Thank you for being here. Here's the layout. It's all just a blank canvas ready for whatever I want to throw at it. Very, very proud of it. Thanks again for being here. So we are going to start our mountain building with the top to the tunnel section inverted, and as you can see, I'm using a very, very stiff cardboard tube to keep the mountain straight. I have a very specific look that I'm going for, and so that little styrofoam ball at the top is important to me. And then you see here I've got some shaper sheet. So I'm going to be working with the shaper sheet and then refining it with the plaster cloth and the newspaper method, and we're just going to see where this goes. So what we got here is a finished mountain ready for plastering. So let's go over kind of what I did. You can see here how I've got a little pathway, and then it'll continue here. I used the road risers for that, made it really easy. And then it comes around like that to the back of the mountain. So one thing I wanted to show you is that I'm using both the shaper sheets here, and then I'm using the plaster cloth, which will be over the newspaper here, and how you can combine both of those materials because I wanted the broad contours that I could get from the shaper sheets at the bottom, but I wanted to have more control over the detail on the top. So I use the shaper sheets, and again, that will be plastered tomorrow. And then we'll use plaster cloth over these newspaper bundles I've created, and got a little platform there so that I can, put something up there. Looks pretty cool. And I will plaster tomorrow and let you know how that looks. Ta-da! Here's my completed mountain, ready for painting on my layout. I finished the plastering yesterday, and today I just couldn't help already attaching a couple of these very large, very beautiful rock faces that I made. It's still wet, so you can kind of tell right now, but when it dries and it's painted, it'll look just really stunning. And I have this sort of concave area for the mountain, so it'll fit lots of really beautiful rock faces. So I think it turned out really, really well. You can see that I used both the shaper sheet and its plaster on the bottom, and the plaster cloth on the top to be able to build these. Well, they're just places for me to put more rocks. and it's just going to look stunning. The trail, I think you can see how it starts down here and then jumps up to this and goes behind the mountain and comes over here and ends up the very top of the mountain. And I think I'm going to kind of, come up with a way for somebody to be able to get to the very peak of this mountain. You'll see that there's still a lot of holes in the plaster cloth. I just put basically one layer on because I just want to see where things go. I want to make sure that if I need to build additional contours, that I'll just have the space to do it without making it too, overloaded and heavy. But everything else just seems to be really rocking on this thing. And I'm working on getting those tunnel entrances in position, nice and even with the roadbed. And on the other side too, let me just go here. Sorry for the weird angle. To get over here and show you the stone ones there. So, and we're gonna be extending those out, and we have space there underneath the mountain to be able to do something with that structure. So it is a completed, ready to paint mountain. I wanted a single peak. I'm still kind of figuring out if that's the shape I want. But you know what? That's what building a mountain's all about. It's like starting. You can always add on. It's a lot harder to take off. So you always kind of just build a little bit at a time, let it dry, and then contemplate on just exactly what you want to do. The beauty of this mountain is because it is removable. I'm not going to remove it right this second, but trust me, I can pull that whole thing off. Is that if I'm not happy with this mountain, well, down the road, maybe I'll make another, and another, and another. And that's a wonderful feeling, too, to be able to know that anything on my layout can be changed and adjusted with time. And put a couple of more rock faces in, just to give you a little update on that. Again, everything's really wet, so it stands out, but once they're painted, it'll look really sweet. So thanks for being here. That's all for this week. I'm going to continue to build some rock faces, making them out of lightweight hydrocal plaster from Woodland Scenics and their rock molds. I think they're pretty awesome. I'll just give you a little taste of them right here. And you see I put in one upside down because I want to use that as a platform for something. So there we are right now. Thank you again. Bye.